All right. So for the sake of the rest of this chapter, I'm going to actually remove the restriction. I'm going to say allow access from all networks and save that. That way we can access this now back again from our personal computers. Now let's talk about shared access signatures. This is another security feature. Basically when you go into a storage account, the core way that you can access a storage account is through access keys. Now you can see here on screen, Microsoft gives me 2 access keys by default. Okay, so basically when I'm going to go into my Visual Studio.NET program, I'm going to grab this connection string. It has the account key embedded in the connection string. And anyone with this account key, even you watching this video, can have full owner permissions to the storage account. You can connect to it, put files in there. You can do a lot of stuff using the API with the my access key. Okay. Microsoft gives you 2. Now the purpose of giving you 2 is so that you can primarily use 1 if you do need to use security keys. And then let's say something happens and you want to change your security key. Well, as soon as you change your security key, all your existing applications will stop working. So what you want to do is switch your applications to the second key. And when that's all confirmed and everything's been tested, then you can regenerate your first key. So basically having 2 keys allows you to switch the keys without breaking your applications. Now again, you have to be very careful about disclosing this. You do not want, if you have many applications in your environment or partners, partner companies that need to store files, maybe you don't want to be giving away your access keys because changing them is such a hassle. And the amount of power that it gives them is total. So you cannot just restrict somebody to a single read activity. They would just have full access. So this is how you manage your access keys. You basically do one, do another. Let's regenerate this one. So the current key becomes immediately invalid. And so it's now regenerated a brand new key for me, and that other key is immediately invalid. Now, let's talk about shared access signatures as an alternative to giving away your access keys. So you're always going to have access keys, but instead of sharing them with people, why don't you try using a shared access signature? So shared access signatures allows you to be very specific with your security. So you can say, well, I only want this particular person or application to be able to write to the queue. So I'm going to remove blob, file, and table storage, and all they have is queue storage. And they can write to the queue, but they can't delete the queue. They can't do anything other than write to the queue. Okay, so you give them very specific permissions. You can say we want this to be a 1-year access or January 1st access, etc. You can specify the source IP addresses and or not. Specify HTTPS only. And you see here the key is that we're signing this with our access key. So the access key isn't going away, but what we're doing is we're using the key to create an access signature. So I'm going to say generate secure access signature. And now we can see that there's a brand new type of connection string that does not have our access key into it. We can also copy the URL. So this contains the SAS token, or we can use this full-on URL. So I'm going to say copy. Now, if we were to go over to a web browser, let's see how this reacts. All right, so I switched over to the web browser here. And you can see that I've pasted I'm going to zoom a little bit here, hopefully. You can see that I've pasted the URL of my queue into the browser address bar, and I ran a very simple query that basically says, get me the list of the queues. Now, this one just says resource not found. So because I don't have a secure access key or anything, it's just denying the existence of it, which is great behavior because you don't want people to know that the storage account exists if they don't pass the key. Now, if I was to go grab the key, I have to append the key, the secure access signature, to my URL. And you'll say, now you're getting a different message saying the request is not authorized. We go back to the Azure portal, and you can see that I only have given this write permissions. I have not given it permissions to list the queues. So if I change this to say list permissions, regenerate the key, the secure access token, I'm going to recopy it, go up to my browser window, and repaste it. Now I have given myself the right permissions to be able to list the queues. I don't have any queues in this particular account, but this is a successful result, even though it's empty. So instead of handing out your access keys, you can generate secure access signatures. It has embedded dates and times in there. If that's something you want, you use your key to sign it. The other thing too is if I go back here and I regenerate my key again, this secure access signature is signed with the key. Okay, if I go back to secure access signature, it's signed with key number 1. And so therefore, because I changed my key, I'm now getting an authentication error. Okay, so it has the secure access signature, but now the signature is no longer valid because I reset the key. I would have to regenerate this secure access signature with the new key. And so that's another form of security, being able to invalidate your secure access signatures through by regenerating your key.